my name is Sherley.
And I'm Brandy.
And welcome back to Unspoken Transitions, where we talk about the nuances of adulthood and the challenges that people don't really talk about. So today,
we are diving straight into gratitude. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all, to you and your loved ones. I hope that you all get a chance to spend time with your loved ones today. Think about life, what you're grateful for, what you're thankful for, and just spend that quality time that we all deserve.
That's a fact.
To spend, not just on Thanksgiving, but every day. And I hope y'all are eating good too.
Mac and cheese.
Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready to dig in.
No facts.
Like, I love Thanksgiving. I love the food, but I also just love spending time with the people too. So,
no, for real.
Yeah.
And for those who maybe your family is not like, the best, one day you'll get through it and then you'll be back in your peaceful bubble. So we're praying for you, we're rooting for you.
Yeah.
And for those who maybe don't have the family and friends, just know that this is just like a time where it's hard, and we understand that it is hard, and we're just keeping you in our thoughts and prayers, and we just pray that you find people that encourage you and uplift you for the future, and you find your newfound family.
Yeah, just hang in there. And honestly, the people that you can spend time with that do appreciate you or feel like family to you, definitely spend time and treasure those relationships too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
y'all got this. So I wanted to start this off with asking, what's something that made you smile this week, or something that gave you joy?
This week? Oh, this is so sweet. I feel like there are so many little things. It's the little things that made me smile. I feel like I am just very grateful for life this week.
Yes.
Very grateful for life, and very grateful for my siblings as well. They've really just been a joy for me this week, and just talking to them, catching up, and all of that has been amazing because we've all been so busy. So it's been nice to, whether it's a FaceTime call or whatever the case is, just to catch up together. That's what I'm really grateful for, and really made me laugh and smile this week. What about you?
I love that. Spending time with siblings, family. I need to do more of that because it's been a minute.
It's hard. It's hard.
And time flies too.
Yeah.
For me, the small stuff, people say it's too early, but I bought some Christmas decor and everything. Not anything big, but some pillows, a table runner and stuff like that, to get in the Christmas spirit. And that brought me joy because I feel like in previous years it's just been December comes and then December is gone, and then I didn't get to embrace Christmas. So it brought me joy to be able to start now. I know it's before, it's before Thanksgiving and everything, but I'm just you know what? Let me start now, and then I can get into the season and be good. But that brought me joy to be able to buy stuff and start to get into the season.
As an adult, I have found so much joy in decorating my place and just finding all these little pieces. I'm like, wow, I have
no,
that's what I find joy and excitement in.
Yeah, because I feel
Home Goods.
Home Goods. What's it called? Wow, is it Michael's? I think it's Michael's.
Michael's?
Yeah, Michael's has
good decor.
They have some crafts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I like that. There's another store I'm thinking of. It is not hitting me, but they got all the Christmas stuff and everything, and it's just really nice.
At home. Or Home Sense. At home?
Home Sense, yes.
Home Sense. Okay.
Home Sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've been there a few times, and it was July and there was still Christmas stuff everywhere, and I was you guys are hilarious, but I'll enjoy this in a few months. So yeah, 100%. It's just good to appreciate and take advantage of the small things that you have, little things that bring you joy. So we might think about why should we have gratitude, why is it important? I think it's just important because sometimes we tend to forget that we're in the middle of something we prayed for. That's the first one. We forget that yes, we want to move on to the next thing and check the next goal, but we fail to appreciate what we have. And then when the time passes, now we're looking back. So it's just a constant sequence of constantly looking back because we just don't appreciate what we have. And something that comes to mind for me for that is during undergrad, I used to be I just want to graduate, I just want to get a job, I just want to make money, I don't care about any of this stuff. But I wasn't able to really sit in the fact that I'm making new friends that are gonna last a lifetime. I'm in charge of a group on campus. I'm really enjoying campus life. And it took until pretty much being done where I was this was a really great time. I made really good memories with my friends and everything. So just not falling into the pattern of, okay, that was a good time. It's like seating yourself in the present and saying, I am having a good time now. Like, maybe things aren't the best. Maybe I'm struggling through something, and this is definitely not a way of me saying, you should just ignore your problems and just be grateful for what you have, because I think that's just toxic in and of itself. But ultimately, just appreciating what you have and recognizing that things may be hard in a certain aspect, and also recognizing that there can be good things going on too.
Yeah, absolutely. The answered prayers part is huge, because I think over the past year started doing that. So now I have a list of prayers, whether for myself, for other people, for the world. And then I started another column for answered prayers, and it's really interesting to go back and just reflect on over the past year all of the answered prayers. And it's been a really good way to practice gratitude for me too.
That's really great. I also started that too, funny enough, where I think I was listening to Bliss and Bossed Up, and she was like, hey, you guys should try to do this. And I was like, okay, let me do it. And I need to make a better habit of putting small things and not just like the big overarching goal, because I think that we do pray for a lot of smaller things, but when it's granted, we're kind of like, okay, great, next, we want this. So that is a great way to be present and just reflect on the gifts and things that God has given us, or just things that you appreciate that are happening right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And just show appreciation for it.
That's a fact.
For real.
Yeah. I want to hear your thoughts on gratitude. Why gratitude?
Yeah, gratitude is so important to me too, and I feel like I'm growing into that skill. I think it's like a muscle almost. It's something that you have to work towards every day. I think we think, oh, maybe just Thanksgiving, or just when you're forced to be in these spaces to think about gratitude, that we think about it. But same here, I think I'm trying to show more gratitude for all of the little things and becoming better at it. So, for example, just being thankful that I wake up in the morning. When I first opened my eyes, and I never used to do this, and almost never to take life for granted. So now the first thing I do when I wake up is like, wow, okay, I'm still here. Thank you, Jesus. Another day. So I do that consciously every morning, and now it's become almost like a habit where gratitude is embedded into my life. Or when I get to my destination, or when I get home after a day, even before I get out of the car, I'm like, wow, thank you, God, that I got to my destination safely, and this could have been so different. Thank you. It's just all of the little things that I think we take for granted. Or even when I complain, I try and practice gratitude too. So for example, when work is really stressful and I'm like, what is going on right now? I try and practice gratitude and say to myself, okay, this person is really frustrating me, or this task is frustrating me, but thank you that I have this job to be able to provide for my life and the things that I need. Or when I get groceries, I'm like, wow, this is a lot of like money right now spending on groceries. I'm like, wow, thank you that I have a job that provides for me to be able to even purchase these groceries and to be able to feed, my family. So all of the little aspects, I think when you practice it enough, it becomes a habit. So now it's just constantly in my mind. I'm just practicing gratitude all day, every day. And it's a muscle. You have to use it in order to have it done. I think it makes you a happier person overall too.
It's very true. When you said you first wake up in the morning and then you're just like, oh, like, thank you for the day and everything, thank you for waking me up. I think we do forget about that because, America's in a place that's super fast paced. Like,
so fast paced.
Next thing. We're constantly moving on to the next thing, like, all the time and everything. And it prevents us from being present. I think that just the busyness of America stops us from being present too. So you just saying, I'm gonna stop. I just woke up. Let me thank God for my day, or let me just be grateful that I'm alive right now, and just kind of stopping the, what do you call it? The like when you first wake up and everything you need to do just rushes through your head. Just like, okay, let's pause for a second and let's like be grateful for just waking up this morning.
Absolutely. And it's hard because I think, like you mentioned, American society is not conditioned in a way to practice gratitude. I mean, how many times do we actually practice gratitude in the workplace, or in, I don't know, in just so many different scenarios? We don't do that. Or even taking advantage of, not taking advantage, but not realizing how much of a blessing even the people in our life are, right? And practicing gratitude for them and the relationships that we have with them. Just all of that, your health, just everything. Everything.
It's so true. And I get like, because they say that what you continue to speak, what you continue to say, just frames your reality. So when you're talking about like, all right, complaining, but also adding like an and to it, even like it's all right, this person's being frustrated and I'm grateful for X, Y, and Z, just to like center yourself back. Because if you, I feel like sometimes if you don't add that extra note, or you don't try to like flip it into something that is more uplifting, you'll be in a spot where you're just nitpicking and you're angry at everything and you're mad at life and you think everything is terrible. And then sometimes God's looking at you like,
I just did 20 different things for you in this one thing. So yeah, you have to definitely center yourself in that way.
Yeah, and it's so easy to catastrophize and just be like, everything is the worst, everything is bad. Like you're just looking at, and I've done this so many times where I'm looking at high level stuff and I'm just like, oh my gosh, the world is in shambles. This is going on. Like in the future, what are things going to look like? And you just keep focusing on the things you can't control and you just stress yourself out. And then you just kind of sit in a place where you're like, you know, well, I can't do anything. Everything is terrible. Like, it's bad. And I think that just completely takes away, for those who are Christian, it's kind of just like you're taking away your trust in God because you're so focused on the future. You're not trusting God with the future. And for those who are not, it's like you're so focused on things you can't control and you're not focusing on the blessings and the things that you have right now that are bringing you joy and making you happy. Like you said, small things like talking to a friend on the phone, sending like a funny TikTok, there are certain things and people that will not be there forever, and it's just important to be present in who you're spending your time with. Like if you're going out to dinner, put your phone down, like just be present, enjoy your time. Yes, like maybe your sibling is irritating you, but they're just trying to, this is their way of spending time with you. Like for example, like my brother, he's like that sometimes. He used to come to my room and just be like trying to bother me. And I used to be annoyed because like I'm a person who's an introvert and I really like spending time alone. And I have to remind myself like, hey, he's just trying to spend some time with you, so kind of just like chill out, try to engage with him and everything. Because you know, I was living at my parents' place, now I'm not, like I don't see him every day, so it's being intentional. And just, I know it's hard to look around and be like, oh well, what do I have to be grateful for? Like these are just things that are like, it is, but it's until that thing is taken away that you're like, oh snap, like I should have appreciated that more. When so I had it. Exactly. And we don't need to wait for that moment to happen for you to be like, oh wow, I should appreciate that.
And I think people have an assumption too that your basic needs are just something that everyone has. It's not. And I think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, so we have that in psychology. So the most basic one that you need in order to just do anything else in your life are just your basic needs: food, water, shelter, roof over your head, things like that. And we just overlook all of those basic needs, and just, I think in American society especially, just assume that everyone has it like that, and that's just not the case. So I think those are the things that we need to be most grateful for.
Yes, like having a roof over your head, being in an area that's like safe, for example, being able to feed yourself, being able to, you know, go on excursions, buy things that you need, so on and so forth. Because there are scenarios where people truly are struggling or having a hard time, and sometimes if you don't watch how you're speaking to people and you're just like, oh, everything's bad, you're complaining, and this person is just like, if I had that, I feel like I would be in a better spot. So just like, you don't know where people are, so it's also being mindful of like what you're saying and how it'll affect other people, and like, are you coming across as ungrateful? Are you coming across as entitled? And I think just checking with yourself every day and just making sure that how you're communicating, how you're operating, how your mindset is in terms of like how you engage with the world is in a positive place. It's just important for you to be cognizant of that, because you really don't know what people are struggling with, and you just saying like, oh, like I don't even know how to explain, like, oh, like the aesthetic of my place isn't the way I want it to be, so like everything is terrible. And it's just like, you have a place to stay.
It's right there.
Literally. So and I get it, it's hard, and I'm definitely not negating from people who have issues, because like some of my previous jobs, like I really took advantage of it. I was just like, you know what, like the job just need to, you know, do what I need to do. But I wasn't appreciative of like a good work environment. It wasn't until I was in a bad one where I was just like, oh wow, like this is terrible. Like that's not the norm. Let me not be unappreciative of that for the future, or like let me just sit back and be like, all right, what do I have that like I'm operating on a daily basis that I think is just the norm, but it's not necessarily the norm. The last thing that comes to mind for me is kind of, I used to complain constantly. I was like, I don't feel like waking up and jogging and working out, blah, blah, blah. Like, just kept complaining. And it's just like, well, sis, like, it's a blessing that you have the ability to jog, because some people are not in the space where they can, like, you know, exert themselves to that extent, or able to, or maybe like even a walkable neighborhood, or like just so many small underlying things that we just don't think of. And you just acting like that, like someone's looking at you like, what are you complaining about?
Right. That's so funny that you mentioned that too, because even at the gym recently, I noticed that I've been practicing gratitude in that sense too. For example, when the trainer is saying, okay, you need to do this set, I'm like, yo, I really don't want to do that. That's a lot of work right now. And I work out because I know it's good for me, but it's not my like favorite thing in the world. I'm learning to, you know, appreciate it and like it. But when I'm lifting those heavy weights or doing whatever the case, in my head, I'm like, wow, thank you God that my body, you've allowed my body to be able to lift these weights, or doing whatever the case is. So
and I get it 100%. It's not my favorite thing either, but what do I always tell myself, especially when it comes to going for a jog and just working in general? I always have to tell myself, hey, I know you're tired, I know you don't feel like it, but after you do this, you're gonna feel good. Like,
you always feel better.
You feel great. Like, you might have been even in a terrible mindset, you might have been exhausted, like, you know, frustrated with the week, anxious even sometimes, and then you work out and you come out, you're like, wow, like, everything
I can conquer anything.
Legit. So I think that's something else too, to remind ourselves, like, all right, acknowledge that, all right, I don't feel like working out, and after I'm done, I'm gonna feel better.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
That's important too. So what tips on gratitude would you want to give people?
I would say definitely just try and make it a habit. Do it often enough. At first it's gonna maybe feel awkward or unusual for you, especially if that's not something that you do often, but the more you do it, it's going to become ingrained in your life where it's a habit, and then you notice you're just going to be practicing gratitude for everything. Because I was once at that point where, not that I wasn't thankful, but I wasn't actively, intentionally trying to practice gratitude. And there's just so many benefits to it overall. I think you'll notice a difference in your mood, a difference in your patience, your level of patience with things, being able to see things from different perspectives, especially negative situations. I think when you practice gratitude, you have a more positive light on other things as well, and it kind of offers more of a balance. But I would say my biggest tip is to just make it a continuous habit.
Find something every day that you,
every single day,
that you're grateful for. Small things, like, it doesn't need to be the biggest thing in the world. Like, even, again, like, I know I keep emphasizing like what you're saying and how you're speaking, but that too, like, there's nothing wrong with venting, there's nothing wrong with complaining. We're not saying to shove all your feelings down and never talk about anything that bothers you. Like,
they're real as well.
Those are very real feelings too. And if all your conversations with people, through text, through call, in person, all of it is just complaining and just like just constant like negativity, then that's how you're gonna frame, that's how your mindset is going to be in terms of how you see the world and everything. So like you're saying, like, it's okay to vent, but like, okay, for example, like, I had a bad habit of like, every single time somebody would ask me how's your day, I'm just like, oh wow, this is like something annoying that happened that really irritated me, and it's just like every single day I was like, all right, this annoyed me, like today was like an okay day because X, Y, and Z. So I was just so fixated on like the negative things that happened and things that annoyed me, rather than like, maybe I got to eat some of my favorite food like during the week, or maybe I was able to have like a really wholesome conversation, or even like spend time with a friend. Like, I'm just so focused on all the bad things of the day. Like you said, like when I'm driving, I'm angry. Like, I'm like going to the grocery store, someone's just looking for something, I'm like, what are you looking at? You know what I'm saying? You're just awkward.
Going through it.
You're just angry all the time. Like, oh, this person like has it for me. Like, you just are in a mindset where like you're a victim and the whole world is against you, and you're just mad, and it does nothing for you. And you really don't want to be in a victim mindset where no one is wrong but you, because if you navigate the world as a victim, it's
not the way to be. And gratitude is a mindset as well. And I think when you practice gratitude enough, you automatically start to look for the good in situations. It's just an automatic part of your mindset, I think. Just like when you don't, that negativity is almost automatic. It's not like you intentionally go into the day trying to be negative. It's just automatic. So
that's true. You wake up, like I said, that thing runs through your head, everything you need to do, and you're just like, like everything's terrible. Why can't I just be X, Y, and Z? Or you, for example, for me on not Instagram, TikTok, I was getting really frustrated. I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm not growing the way I want to grow. I was like, everything is useless. I don't want to do this, X, Y, Z. And it's just like, hey, you went from 0 followers to like a decent amount in a year. Like, just be appreciative of the effort you put in. Like, you did grow, you did make progress and everything. You don't need to throw everything in the trash just because you're not at the place you want to be, or just say like, or the constant comparison too. Because I feel like in gratitude, not practicing gratitude prevents you, it sometimes causes you to compare yourself to other people and their situation, stuff like that. It's like, all right, they have this, but I don't have that. Like, why can't I have that? My life should be good because of this. You might even go into the mindset of, well, I deserve this, like they don't deserve that because of X, Y, and Z. So when you continue to sit yourself in the complaining and negative mindset, not only are you bringing your perspective of life down, sometimes you're trying to bring others down with you in order for you to make yourself feel better. Whether it's like people just around you, you're trying to bring them down just because they're in a good place, or you try to like destroy someone's character in order to make yourself feel better. And it's just like not a good thing, because it's some people might be thinking like, oh, gratitude, whatever, like it's not that deep, but sometimes if you really don't practice it, you turn into like an evil person and you don't realize it because you're in the victim mindset too. So you gotta really pay attention.
Yeah. And I also, in the grand scheme of things as well, I think just being grateful for every stage of your life. I think you were kind of hinting at this as well, but just every stage of your life, God intentionally planned it for it to be the way it is. So just being grateful for every stage, like you said, not trying to rush through every stage, compare yourself to other people that are in that stage. Just be grateful for where you are in that moment, because, you know, I always say you're never going to be as young as you are today. So just enjoy your youth, the stage of life that you're in. I think that's important, especially in young adulthood too, whether it's you're in your singleness, or you haven't had children yet, or you are looking for that perfect job, or you're still living at home with your parents. Just enjoy and be grateful for every stage that you're in, because it has a purpose.
Every single one has a purpose. Even reflecting back, like elementary school had a purpose where you're going through a certain level of growth. Like, and I think as we get older, it doesn't even turn into elementary school, middle school, high school, college, whatever. It's like fragments. It's like, all right, these couple months was focused on this area, and then this couple months it's on that. So we're constantly growing and changing, so it really is important. And like, not to make this morbid at all, but like life is short sometimes too. Like, you really have
period.
It's short. Like, period. Time flies, things happen. You don't want to ever end your day, for example, just like, for example, you said something like nasty to somebody, you said something like extremely rude because you weren't in a good mood, and that's how you kind of like ended the day. Like, you just want to make sure that you're being intentional with who you're talking to and how things are. Like, I was watching, this is like an early 2000s movie. Have you heard of Click?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Click?
Yeah. Okay. So
I love the books, by the way.
Wait, Click with Adam Sandler?
The remote Click.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Click series.
No,
like all of those like Mean Girls.
Nah, I didn't read it.
Really? Okay, I was a Click girly back in. I should have had no business reading that, but yeah.
I can't lie. It sounds like something I would want to read. I was like, oh,
it was like preppy. I don't know how to describe it. It was just, I don't know how to describe it. If you know the Click, you know. If you know the Click books and the movie, you know. All their books were plaid. The Click books, if you know, you know.
Okay, I'm gonna look into it. Maybe I've seen it like at the library and stuff like that. But Click with Adam Sandler. Have you heard of that movie?
No, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Okay, this is gonna be a spoiler, but
I think I know the gist.
You know the gist of it? Okay, so yeah, for those who don't know, Click is a movie by Adam Sandler. Came out in like the early 2000s and everything. It's about a guy who has a very busy life, and he finds a remote control that allows him to fast forward through time, essentially. So he has the remote, and he just wants to get a big promotion at his job. He just wants to reach the point where he's at his job, he's comfortable, he's making money for his family. He doesn't have this annoying manager that he has, and he's just like living his best life and everything. So he uses the remote, and the way he navigates life is like, oh, I don't want to deal with the in-laws, I'm gonna fast forward through that. Like, this dog I don't feel like going for a walk, for example, or waiting for him to use a bathroom in the front yard. I'm just fast forwarding through it. Like, my kids want to play with me. It's like, all right, like, let me just fast forward through this or whatever, and just like get through it so that I can finish my project for work, reach a point where I'm just doing my stuff so that I can move on to the next day and just go from there, right? So he just keeps fast forwarding through all the like meaningless things, which is spending time with family, which is the dog, which is like even talking to his wife, and like fast forward through everything just because he was stuck in productive mode, which isn't bad, but it's like he just didn't realize what he was doing, like the gravity to what he was doing. So the way the remote works is, as time goes on, it starts to like automate it. It's kind of like it works custom to you. So what happened was, it like without him fast forwarding, it would just like move through kids, move through like dinners, like just quickly, because that's what he wanted. And at some point,
and then he got old.
He started getting older, yeah. So like at some point he was just like, I didn't ask it to fast forward through this part, like just please or whatever, like don't fast forward. And the guy who sold it to him was just like, you set it up to be this way, so like this is how it is. So it got to a point where the guy warned him like, hey, don't fast forward too far, because like then it's gonna program the remote to continue to fast forward. But he's like, I just want to have this promotion, I just want to have this money, like I just want to get to this point, like I don't care about all the stuff in between, or not I don't care, but like I'm tired of struggling, I just want to get to this point. Fast forward to a point where we got the promotion, didn't realize it was like 2 years later, and like it just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And at the end, he was like, and again, it automates. So now he's like 80. Like he didn't get to look at his father before he passed because he was just like in automation mode. Like it just kept fast forwarding all the way to the end. And then at the end of his life, essentially, like he almost missed his son's wedding. It was just kept going. So he gets to the end and he's just like, yo, like I really just, I wish I could just like restart this. I wish I never bought the remote or whatever. So the guy who sold it to him gave him a second chance. And like,
that's nice.
He gave him a second chance. And he was just, and it pretty much brought him back to the point where he bought it, and he was just like, I'm not buying it. And he just like threw it in the trash.
That's a happy ending at least.
Oh yeah, I can't do these sad endings. I would have cried. Like I can't do that.
I thought where it was kind of going. No, like, dang.
I mean, he wasn't okay. At the end, he did die, but I think the person who sold to him allowed him to reset. So it was kind of like a dream, like he woke up, like or whatever. So he didn't have to. So he went through it, but he kind of set it up like a dream. Like, all right, you learned your lesson essentially. Like, here you go. So
the movies be having all these underlying themes. That's a really powerful.
It's a really powerful movie. And then he got home and he hugged his son, like hugged his wife. He was just like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna appreciate everything. Like I know work is hard. I'm gonna buy you the stuff. Like who cares? Kind of like he started to be present because he's just like, all right, this promotion's great, but ultimately I appreciate the time with my friends and family. These are the things that actually matter, because in the end, if I have the money and I don't have anybody around me, it's just me to myself. It's like, okay, what am I really doing? What am I working hard for?
What's the reason? What's the purpose? Wow, that also reminds me of 13 going on 30.
Oh my gosh!
It's on Netflix right now, so if you want to rewatch it. But
good movie.
Like she just skipped to 30 and then just realized that she didn't appreciate the point in time that she was in.
Exactly.
But I love the sound of Click. I'm gonna have to.
You should watch it. And it's happy, so
maybe it's on YouTube or something.
It's on a free app. I think it's Amazon Prime or something, but like
okay, I have to find it. Yeah.
I remember as a kid it was just like a fun movie, but you know, rewatch those fun movies as an adult and you're like, oh
wow, I see what they're going through. Absolutely. Like watching all the movies that you watched as a child back now, it's completely different.
Completely different. New lessons, other layers. Like have you seen Incredibles? Like as an adult?
No.
It's just so deep, because as a kid when the adults used to argue, I used to be like, what's wrong with you? Like, what do you are? I was like, what are they even like talking about? But now I'm like, oh, I understand. I that's irritating. Like, I get it. And
I wonder if our parents, when they took us to the movies or watched those movies with us, if they were like, wow, this is deep. And we were just like, oh, I don't know.
No, I think so, because a lot of parents didn't allow their kids to watch SpongeBob because they'd watch it with them. And there's a lot of underlying like adult themes.
Oh, really?
But because I like watch SpongeBob all the time. So like when I watch the old episodes, I'm just like, oh, this is still entertaining for me on a level, because there's low-key some like adult themes in there. As a kid, I don't think you would ever catch it. But
right. No, I completely get that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's entertaining. I think they still do that with movies too, like Encanto, or have you seen Encanto?
Of course.
Like you see, there's some like themes in there,
stuff.
really deep themes that like kind of hit home and everything. I get that.
Yeah.
Definitely watch all your childhood movies and everything. But last thing I will leave you all with is, things can be hard we're not saying don't complain, we're not saying not to vent, but just remember where you are and the blessings that you have in your life presently before you like just, you know, continue to get upset and everything. And I know that at times where we're in the middle of a situation, it's hard to think of the light, but I think something that helps me is thinking of a past situation where I was going through something similar or hard, whether it was with a person, a situation. It might not be the exact same things, but think about the feelings you're feeling, with the anxiety, maybe fear of the future, maybe just like anything you're struggling, maybe like a conflict with a friend, family member, anything that you're going through compared to something you went through when you were younger. See how you got out of it and try to like, and that sometimes gives hope for the future of your situation too. So remind yourself like, oh, I felt anxious about this before. I felt stressed. Like, what helped me in the past to get through this stressor or this anxiety that I'm feeling, and then try to like work through in that way or see the light at the end of the tunnel. And for those who are Christian, God who has your back now, he had your back then, he has it now, he's gonna have it in the future. So like, you know, just trust him with stuff.
He's been the same God.
Same God back then,
all throughout.
Today, future,
tomorrow,
all of the above. So yeah, all in all, do your best to be grateful. Don't diminish if you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed. I've been there, we've all been there. And we are here for you. We're here to support, and we hope you have a great Thanksgiving. So thank you for listening. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, send an email to unspokentransitions@gmail.com, and we'll see you next week.
Bye y'all. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.